Gid, the hired man. A long, long time ago, when Grandpa was a little boy, we lived on the farm northwest of Maroa. We were poor, and much of the work was done by hand, with horses, and with a small tractor. When we moved to the farm in 1940, my father was ill from the pressures of his sales job and was fearful that he could not do all the work required in running the farm. He therefore hired a man named Gid, who worked for us for 1 year. I suppose his real name was Gideon, but we just called him Gid. He lived with us as part of his pay. Gid was a gentleman with blue eyes, and generally had the approval of our mother, who liked to look for the best in everyone. He was a good worker who handled the cows and horses well, and knew how to do many jobs around the farm. In the spring he would work long hours with the cows and other livestock, plow the fields and plant the corn, and then milk the cows again in the evening. However, Gid did have a problem which Mama detested. On payday, which was usually every 2 weeks, often on a Saturday, he would use our work horses and wagon to go to Maroa, where he visited the taverns and drank a lot. I really do not know where he went because no one in our family went along, but we saw the end result of his drinking. He would come home late, that is, just as it was about to get dark, for the wagon did not have any lights. Sometimes he still had a bottle of whiskey in his pocket. Those blue eyes became bloodshot eyes. Mama was especially observant of the color of people's eyes. I can remember times when he would fall asleep in the kitchen sitting up in a chair because he was so drunk. It was the straight-back dining room chair located next to the china cabinet in which my mother stored her dishes. How he could sleep in that position, leaning against the cabinet, I do not know. I later used that china cabinet in my office as an instrument case, and it is now in our basement. You can see both the chair and the china cabinet in this picture below. On more than one occasion, I took a bottle out of his pocket while he just sat and slept. I also remember one time he went up the stairway to his room, but only made it to the top of the stairs. He sat down on that top step and went to sleep. I went up and stole his whiskey bottle from him as he slept and gave it to my mother. I don't know if she ever gave the bottles back to him or if she just poured them out, for she was a lady definitely opposed to drinking alcohol. Early one cold and snowy winter day, I remember Gid harnessing the horses and hitching them to the old high-wheeled farm wagon with the buckboard seat and driving off to town. The wind was whistling, and the snow piled into drifts as it blew past the horse barn and crib. Gid came home in the late afternoon, but before dark, and as usual he was very drunk. He unhitched the horses and put them in the stalls, but was so drunk he could not remove the harness. He started staggering toward the house, but fell into a snowdrift near the barn. Our dog went out to play with him, thinking he just wanted to have some fun. This dog was Ring's mother, who you can read about on page 43. Gid was so drunk that he could not get up and come into the house. After we saw what was happening, and after we were sure he was down for good, my mother and I went out toward the barn and snowdrifts and helped him into the house. Mama gave him some hot coffee and put him to bed. Wine is a mocker, strong drink a brawler, and whoever is intoxicated by it is not wise. That's Proverbs 20, verse 1. By my mother's proclamations and by Gid's actions, I saw the dissipation of drinking alcohol, and by God's grace, I have never been drunk.